Start from the beginning. Fuck's sake. Oh, smoke him if you got him. Welcome, my excellent friends. It's taken me 10 months, but I finally did it. A celebratory cigar, Jack Daniels, and I finally did it. I have covered the entirety, all 12 songs of Metallica's Black Album. Now, first off, why do I spend 10 months re-recording the entirety of Metallica's Black Album? Well, I would have done something anyway, for the fact that it was the 30th anniversary. I would have recorded at least one or two songs, you know, some of the hits maybe. But then a friend sent me the trailer for The Blacklist, the 53-song Metallica cover album. And I took a listen to it, and there was some interesting things on there. There was some country artists, there was some rap artists, and, you know, listening through the trailer and like, okay, this is interesting. You've got some pop artists, you've got Miley Cyrus on there. Okay, that's different. But where's the opposing to that? Where's the more traditional take on Metallica? Where's some familiarity? Still listening. And it's just, it never came. And I'm thinking, where's Trivium? Where's Evil? Where's Bullet for My Valentine? Where's Avenged Sevenfold? Where's Savage Messiah? Where's all these bands that, never mind, picked up guitars, probably because of the Black Album and Metallica, but would, at the drop of a hat, would probably want to do a cover. In fact, now that I think about it, some of those bands I've just mentioned have actually done covers of songs from the Black Album before. In other words, and I said this to my friend, where's the, you know, metal covers of Metallica? So after a few moments complaining about this, I thought, why don't I put my money where my big fat mouth is and do it myself? So I have done. I knew I'd be doing the drums, the bass, the guitars, the vocals, of course. And I thought there's probably going to be some synth in there in the background for Nothing Else Matters and The Unforgiven. One of the reasons why this took even longer than I expected, because I never thought I would be doing 33 violins and 10 cellos to do essentially the S&M side of Nothing Else Matters. But I got that far and I just thought, hey, why didn't I just take it that little bit further? So I did. I really wanted to capture that Black Album sound. Now, fortunately, because of amp simulators, there are things these days like bias effects that exist. And I have to thank DMO Metal Guitar for... I mean, he's the reason why I bought bias effects in the first place, because of his Black Album tone replica. So I used that to get that meaty Hetfield God sound, as Bob Rock calls it. For all the rhythm tracks, for all the leads, I used that as well, but I put, because Kirk loves doing his wah, all the solos have an auto wah on there through bias effects. I even found on there someone else, I can't remember who, someone had loaded up to the Tone Cloud a replica of Jason's bass. So I used that too, and it sounds great. So what was I going to do for Lars's drum sound? Was I going to use a preset from some drum sample program and try and EQ it into sounding like Lars is? So to cut all that out, I searched on Google to see if there was anything, and wouldn't you know it, there's a neat little video, I'll probably cut in with this, of Chocolate Audio. I think they're the company that made it, and it's licensed through BFD Drums, something like that, who went to the same studio, one-on-one studios in California. They went to the same studio, they used the same room, the same kit, the same microphones, and they had the same engineer as the Black Album. So after discovering that, what else was I going to do? So I bought that. That was probably the most expensive thing. I bought a cello to do this cover album. I tell you what, eBay and Facebook Marketplace are a really great thing, and I found this guy across the border in Wales who's selling a cheap cello, so I bought this thing here. This cello. For not a bad price, and I learned how to play the cello for this project. When it comes to the acoustic guitars, well, they're mostly nylon strings, aren't they? So that will be very much a mixing mastering thing in the post stage where I get the nylon string. But then, let's face it, nylon strings are nylon strings. They're much of a muchness. They don't... that really comes down to the quality of the instrument, I think, rather than any kind of electrics or programs or EQing. So now that I've talked about the sound of the instruments on my cover of the Black Album, the next thing I suppose to talk about is the performance. At the moment, I'm just editing it all together. Don't get me wrong. I never anticipated it would take me 10 months to do just the recording of the entire album. That's almost as much as it took Metallica to do it. And they wrote the damn thing. In my case, well, it's one guy doing the whole thing. It's one guy singing, playing, recording, filming, mixing and mastering. So it's been fun to do, but I never anticipated it to take this long. I thought it would take me at the time I thought it'll probably just take me 2 months to do. The thing that I really never anticipated going as far as I did with was the orchestra for Nothing Else Matters. Initially, I thought Nothing Else Matters. I'll do I'll do everything. I'll do the clean tone guitars. I'll do the singing. I'll do layers of vocals. But I just thought for the orchestra sound, I'll just do a synth. And I did do that, just like I did for The Unforgiven, because there's a synth on there as well. I'll probably release 2 different versions of Nothing Else Matters. I'll probably do one where I'm EQing it to sound just like the album. But then I think I'll do one that sounds just like S&M, or the other version they put out with the remastered version, which, what do they call it? The elevator version, where they get rid of the drums and the bass, and it's just the clean tone guitars, vocals, and the whole orchestra. I'll probably do something like that. Probably not exactly, but what I reckon I'll do is I'll probably mute the drums completely, and probably keep everything else, but turn the orchestra up really loud so that you can hear all of that. I did consider, should I buy a trumpet as well, a cheap trumpet, and do it? But I thought, no, this has gone on long enough. It's taken me a while. It's taken me almost long. It's going to be the 31st anniversary of the album by the time I get this all finished. It's not until you try doing a cover of a song that you realise just how much went into it. And one of the things I love about the Black Album, it's a real album. They went to a lot of effort to do that album. All the rhythm guitars are recorded 4 times. They didn't just turn up and rehearse once and then just play it in. They did a lot of work for that, and it sounds it. There's so much that went into it, and I love albums that sound like there's hard work. I mean, particularly something like The Unforgiven. You just listen to the intro of that. There's so many things going on. There's a church bell, which there's a church down the road from me that I considered going to and asking if I could sample their church bell, which I still got time. I still might do that. But for the moment, I found on YouTube funny enough, because it's in the news, Ukraine, but I found a Ukrainian church bell that someone had got a really great audio of it with the camera right close to the bell. So I ripped that and I put that into the track. celebratory cigar. I feel like Schwarzenegger with this. In regards to the things that I did differently to Metallica, because as I said, 80% of this is completely faithful to the Black Album and 20% different. There's the odd drum thing that I changed, like in Holier Than Thou. I changed the intro with the drums. But probably the most noticeable thing that I did that was different was I initially started with the intro to Wherever I May Roam, which starts off with that amazing gong sound and the sitar sort of sound. But the more I played with it, the more I sort of found something else was coming along. So I decided I might as well embrace this new thing. And then I got the idea to use the violin on the intro instead of trying to find it like a sitar replica sound, because I don't have a sitar. And had I the extra money, I probably would have bought one and just like microphoned it up. But I played the violin of the main melody and experimented with this other stuff. And it started to sound like, because the original sounds like this kind of Middle Eastern sort of Phrygian scale kind of sound. Mine started to take on this almost like Last Samurai, Yojimbo kind of. It's really strong. Starting to feel a little lightheaded from this thing. So, now that the entire thing is recorded, I thought, how am I going to present this? Am I going to do it as the whole album? Am I going to mix and master it, edit the footage, and put it all together as one video and put it up? I could do that, but that would take even more time, and I thought, people keep on asking me, hey Chris, when's the next thing you're going to load up? Because it's been like 10 months. Are you working on anything? So that's partly the reason for this video, to let people know what I've been working on. And also show a few tidbits and a few teasers for it. What I think I'm going to do is similar to what Metallica did when they played the entire album on tour back in, I think it was, 11 years ago. They played the entire album live, but they did it in reverse. They did Struggle Within first, My Friend in Misery, all the way till Enter Sandman. So that you save the best till last. So I thought, I'll do it that way. I'll load it up in reverse. So at the moment I'm editing Struggle Within. So that's about it. That's the production side of my Black Album cover project, tribute to one of the greatest metal albums in history. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see what people think of it, how people think it sounds, and yeah, see what you think.